Hello, everybody, and welcome to this next installment of training. So for today, I would like to talk about ASD, or autism spectrum disorder. And this is kind of coming to my field division only in the last little while, where we've had communication with somebody who actually runs an autism group. And they absolutely love our CBD oil. And I suspect that we're going to be doing massive amounts of business with them. But I think at this stage, from what I understand, one out of every 68 children that is born is now classified as a spectrum child, which means there are plenty of children out there, and there are plenty of parents who would love to offer their children something that can actually improve, well, I guess you could say, the quality of the parents' life first and foremost, because I think they battle with it. Because if you don't know anything about autism, the kids can be a little bit difficult, particularly when they feel frustrated, because there's an innate intelligence there, and they're almost like different beings. And as a result, there's a lack of understanding. There's a judgment there. There's as I say, there's just it's difficult for these kids, and they sense frustration, and then they're still people, and they still have emotions, but it's difficult for them to sometimes voice it. And as a result, we see a whole host of symptoms, from things like hyperactivity, self-mutilation, anger, sleep problems, anxiety, restlessness, psychomotor agitation, irritability, aggressive perseverance, depression. So they have all of these kind of symptoms, apart from the usual, the way that they sort of self-modulate, the lack of, social cues and behavior. And it's okay, that they're like this. I mean, I personally believe that these children have come for a reason. I personally believe that they are here to be different. I think that if we continue on the path that we're just going to land up, self-destructing. So having, a type of being that kind of enters into this world that is, that doesn't function necessarily from logic, that doesn't take cues from other people, that doesn't feel peer pressure, that actually really just functions from their own intelligence and own awareness, may not be the worst thing in the world. But the point here that I'm getting to is that there's a group called Normal, NORML.org, okay, who have done they've collected and analyzed all of the studies that have been done across the board for all sorts of different things cannabis related. And they've got a beautiful website. And as we go through these trainings, I'm actually going to be reflecting on all of the different things that they've done studies on. So there's probably about 8 or 9 categories in which they've really established that cannabis is very, very useful as a medication. And for autism, it has certainly shown promise. This being said, I mean, obviously it's not a cure, okay? That's an important thing to understand. But what it does do is it helps with all of those symptoms that I talked about. I know a lot of the kids that struggle with autism really battle with aggression. I think that's probably the key one. I think it just comes from the lack of understanding, that frustration, that inability to express themselves, and the feeling that they are different, and they can perceive the judgments of other people, and they can perceive the lack of understanding, and as a result, they get frustrated. So our cannabis oil works really, really well. And in particular, I give Harlequin to some of the ones that are showing, it depends on the body type, really. Again, so if I get one that looks like, he could have been an athlete, or he's like a monstrous sort of child, muscular and obviously, is quite fiery, then I'm inclined to give a little bit more THC. If you remember correctly, my personal awareness of it is that THC, it dampens, anger. It's as Peter Tosh said, it's you make the herb for the angry man, and it's quite useful for that. So I think there's a place and space for kids, particularly the older ones, and I see it a lot when the kids are hitting puberty. As soon as they hit puberty, and the boys in particular, when they hit those testosterone years, and now they start filling out. So they've got this anger, and they've got this aggression, and now it's playing out as this masculine sort of energy. I find that the THC works really, really well, just to calm that down and bring a sense of balance. And obviously the CBD then for the younger kids, it's a lot safer. We can function in a much safer playing space with that. And and like I say, the results that we've gotten so far with autism have been really, really good. Understand again, though, guys, please, it's not, we have to be very careful when we're talking to our clients. It's about take this and see what happens. We have seen great results in some, and we've seen no results in some, and that's the truth. Okay, it's just how it is. The fact that we can do a study and go, well, we've seen a 25%, improvement, or studies show that there's a 50% improvement. Understand something there. Within that 50%, that means that some kids had really good results and pushed, would have raised that number up. And then there would have been kids who had no result or very little result, and they would have brought that number down. And that's what you've always got to factor in. It's not about this being a cure, or this is going to be the thing that saves. It's about, please, try this. Let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying? It's $550 to start on the CBD oil. It'll take a little bit of time, but you should start to see a shift. You know, and as I said, you're treating different body types as well, because their body chemistry is going to interact with the cannabinoids. So there's a way of playing around. Again, I think some essential oils, definitely 5-HTP, guys. Melatonin if they're struggling to sleep. You know, I think, you know, particularly for the younger kids, we probably would need to make melatonin, which is less melatonin in it. I mean, our 10 milligram capsules are too much for the average person. I think we could probably need to be taking it down to about 3 milligrams. So, but we can tailor make something again, guys. As I said, we've now got an encapsulator that works for us, and I've been making some individualized, you know, remedies for some of the some clients. For one of Anne's clients and for my clients, I've been doing it, and with great success. You know, it's a little bit of trial and error because we don't always get the formulation right straight away. But to offer this to our clients and say, listen, man, let's have a look at your client. And this goes for all the diseases. You know what I'm saying? This is not just about autism. This is about anything from anxiety to, you know, to a combination of an autoimmune disease with anxiety or sleeplessness with that. So then we can start to tailor make oils that will hopefully get the body behaving in a different way, and we can hopefully start to bring some homeostasis to it. So guys, that is it for today. Lots of love, everybody, and we will chat soon. Ciao.